So today is most auspicious day. It is the anniversary of the appearance of Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. One is anniversary, another is today in some fortunate devotee's heart, Krishna will make this lila of appearance. And in some universe, material universe, Krishna is doing his appearance pastime. So it is eternal. It is not only anniversary 5,000 years ago, but it is happening now also in some universe and in the heart of some fortunate devotee who has love for Krishna. In that devotee's heart, Krishna will make his appearance. So first also I have to, for my own purification, today is the disappearance of one dear disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vikas Hrishikesh Goswami Maharaj. All disciples of Prabhupada, they are not ordinary persons. They were sent by Mahaprabhu to spread his teaching all over the world. So Prabhupada expanded himself through his disciples. So we have to pray their grace, remember them. So Prabhupada, he made many mats throughout India and in London, outside India also. And he also made one Bhakti Vinod Institute. If you go to Mayapur, near Jogapit, you will see there he arranged like secular education along with spiritual education, both for children. So some teachers were like Matavasis, devotees. Some teachers came from outside, but some of those, they became attracted to devotees and they also became devotee. So like this, Srila Hrishikesh Maharaj was like this. He was teacher and he became devotee. Matavasi took shelter of Prabhupada and was doing all seva. Then after Prabhupada's disappearance, because there was this lila going on with Gauriya Math, he went to Vrindavan to do bhajan and he was begging for Madhukari, that is morsel of food from different Brajabasis. And daily he would do parikrama of Vrindavan, and if he was in Govardhan, he would do daily Govardhan parikrama. Then after some time, by the inner inspiration of Prabhupada, he established one math near Calcutta and he preached according to the desire of Prabhupada the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and helping jivas to develop Krishna Prem. And he was also traveling with our Parangurudev to many places, assisting in preaching and all this he was doing. So if you want to know more details, you can find in Srila Bharati Maharaj's that page. So just in brief, to pray for his grace, I try to remember about him. So on today's disappearance day, I bow down to him and pray for his causeless mercy. And we are hearing, Gurudev told me personally, for Janmastami you have to read 3 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. First 3 in 10th canto. Usually we did in one day. It took long time. This year we divided into 3 days. So on first day we heard how Kamsa was driving Devaki and how demigods prayed to Supreme Lord on the behalf of Mother Earth because so much sinful activities were going on. demoniac kings. It was a great burden. And how Kamsa wanted to kill Devaki, and how Vasudeva Maharaj somehow convinced him to not do this. But later on, when Nara told him that any of the child may be that one, and the demigods already took birth in this world, and that Vishnu will kill him, so Kamsa killed all the children of Devaki and imprisoned them, and his father and he made alliance with other demoniac kings, and they were oppressing others. And he was also afraid when first Krishna appeared in the heart of Vasudeva Maharaj, and he became very shining. And then he transferred him to Devaki's heart. There was no this union thing. It was like an initiation. So Krishna entered from Vasudeva's heart into Devaki's heart, and she also became very shining and happy and peaceful. And Kamsa immediately understood. Now Vishnu came. He's in her womb, I know. But she's a woman and my sister and pregnant. If I kill her, that will be very bad for my reputation. I will wait and see after what I can do when he will be born. Then also demigods also understood, and they came and they prayed to the womb of Devaki. That is called Garbha Stuti. We were hearing yesterday how they sang the glories of Supreme Lord, His qualities and everything. So today we will continue with the third chapter. Chapter 3, the birth of Lord Krishna. Shri Shuka Uvach. Atha Sarva Gunopetah Kalach Parama Shobana Yarhi Eva Jana Janma Ksham Shantarksha Graha Tarakam Dishah Prasedur Gaganam Nirmalodu Ga Nodoyam Mahi Mangala Bhuishta Pura Grama Vrajakara Nadyah Prasanna Salila Hrada Jalaruha Shriya Dvijali Kula Sanada Stavakavana Rajaya Vavo Vayu Sukha Sparsha Punya Gandhavaha Shuchi Agnayascha Dvijatinam Shantastatra Samindhata Manam si asan prasanani sadunam asura druham jaya mane jane tasmin nedur dundu bhaya samam. I am reading Sanskrit because Vyasadeva satisfied Krishna by writing Srimad Bhagavatam by the grace of Narad Goswami. So Krishna is very satisfied if someone reads Bhagavatam, these original verses also. Of course, translation made by Srila Swami Maharaj is also very pleasing to Krishna because he is a pure devotee. So in order to please him, please Krishna. So thereafter, at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashwini. The sun, the moon, and the other stars and planets were very peaceful. all directions appeared extremely pleasing, and the beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky. Decorated with towns, villages, mines, and pasturing grounds, the earth seemed all auspicious. The rivers flowed with clear water, and the lakes and vast reservoirs full of lilies and lotuses were extraordinarily beautiful. In the trees and green plants, full of flowers and leaves, pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swarms of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of the demigods. A pure breeze began to blow, pleasing the sense of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. And when the Brahmanas engaging in ritualistic ceremonies ignited their fires according to Vedic principles, the fires burned steadily, undisturbed by the breeze. Thus, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear, the saints and Brahmanas, who had always been disturbed by demons like Kamsa and his men, felt peace within the core of their hearts, and kettle drums simultaneously vibrated from the upper planetary system. It is always like this. If you see with all other avatars, there is always some problem. And then, just when he's about to appear, everything becomes very auspicious, and they felt peace. Jaguh Kinara Gandharvas Tushtuvuh Siddhacharana Vidyadharyaschana Nritur Apsarobih Samam Muda. The Kinnaras and Gandharvas began to sing auspicious songs. The Siddhas and Charanas offered auspicious prayers, and the Vidyadharis along with the Apsaras began to dance in jubilation. Mumuchur Munayo Devah Sumanam Si Mudanvita Mandam Jaladhara Jagar Jur Anusagaram Nishite Tama Udbhute Jayamane Janardane Devakyam Devarupinyam Vishnu Sarva Guhashaya Avirasi Jata Pracham Vishindur Iva Pushkala. The demigods and great saintly persons showered flowers in a joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of the ocean's waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night, like the full moon arising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Bhagavan Ki Jai. Devaki is transcendental. In the heart of pure devotee, Krishna appears, and in front of them. Actually, our Parangurudev explained that we hear from Bhagavad Gita that Krishna appears in this world to, when irreligion goes up, a religion goes down, and to protect the sadhus and to destroy the demons, he appears. But our Parangurudev explained that what is the meaning of this protecting the sadhus? we see in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, there was no need to Supreme Lord to directly come to protect Prahlad Maharaj from all the attacks. Or to kill demons, he can do by his own will. He can kill demons, no problem for Supreme Lord. But why he is directly appearing? What is the real cause? And what is the meaning of this sadhu paritranaya? It is because his devotees, they are feeling separation grief from Krishna. So unless he personally comes, that separation grief cannot be removed, mitigated. That is why he has to come. That is the original cause of the direct appearance of Supreme Lord in this world. It is always due to love of his devotee. If you go to check all avatars, you will see Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Varaha avatar, all, they came by the devotion of their devotee, like Satyavrata Muni, Brahma, and here Devaki and Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda. For Prahlad, Nrishingadev appeared. Original cause of the appearance of Supreme Lord is always pure devotion of pure devotee. And as a side effect, that also happens. He kills the demons and establishes the dharma, order, to remove undesirable elements so that people can live in accordance with dharma. Ultimate dharma is service of Krishna. So he appeared because Devaki was of the same category as Shri Krishna. Krishna is transcendental. His pure devotee is also transcendental, and their glories are unlimited. And Krishna, Guru Rupe, Krishna Kripa, Koren Bhakta Gone. Krishna blesses jivas of this world in the form of Guru. That is why, like we see the sun through the help, means through the rays of the sun. They are not separate, they're inseparable. Through the light of the sun, we can see the sun. Like that, Krishna reveals himself through Guru. Guru Rupe, Krishna Kripa, Koren Bhakta Gona in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we should never neglect pure devotee, ignore pure devotee. He is non-different from Krishna. He knows everything. Tam adbhutam balakam ambujekshanam chaturbhujam shanka gadadi udayudham Shrivatsa Lakshmam Gala Shobhi Kaustubham Pitambaram Sandra Payoda Sobhagam Maharha Vaidurya Kirita Kundala Tvisha Parisvakta Sahasra Kuntalam Udama Kanchi Angada Kankanati Bhir Virochamanam Vasudeva Aikshata. Vasudeva then saw the newborn child who had very wonderful lotus-like eyes and who bore in his 4 hands the 4 weapons Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma, conch shell, disc, mace and lotus. On his chest was the mark of Srivatsa and on his neck the brilliant Kaustuba gem. Dressed in yellow, his body blackish like a dense cloud, his scattered hair fully grown, and his helmet and earrings sparkling uncommonly with the valuable gem Vaidurya. The child, decorated with a brilliant belt, armlets, bangles and other ornaments, appeared very wonderful, Our Gurudev told how this is possible. Did you at any time see any child being born with all this helmet and hair grown, full grown, and all this, and 4 hands? No. And there is a reason why he appeared in this way. He himself will say. Also, Kapil Bhagavan, when he came, he also sat in Padmasana immediately when he was born. So they are not ordinary, means the same person doing lila. Sa vismayot pula vilochano harim sutam vilokya na kadundubis tada Krishna vatarotsava sambramos prishan muda dvijebhyo jutam apluto gavam. When Vasudev saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas as a transcendental festival. He could not do practically because they were imprisoned, but there is no obstacle. He did it mentally. That also counts. Also, that Brahmin was serving Krishna mentally because he was so poor, but Krishna accepted. And our Gurudev also told in Western countries you are not having, when we told him how we can do puja and all these many flowers necessary, but here they are not growing during winter. If we buy, it will be very expensive all the time. So Guru said, then you can give mentally flower. Krishna will know. So everything can be done mentally also. One time Gurudev told me, if you are very poor, then you can mentally come to Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Navadip Dham, mentally. There is no obstacle. The only thing is whether we want to serve Krishna or not. We can mentally serve Gurudev also. Wash his clothes and make nice. You can do mentally. If you have that desire, really, Gurudev can give you this seva. So he distributed. Athainam astaut avadharya purusham param natanga krita di kritanjali swarochi sha bharata sutika griham virochayantam gata bih prabhavavit. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of King Bharat, Vasudev could understand that this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. Having concluded this without a doubt, he became fearless. Bowing down with folded hands and concentrating his attention, he began to offer prayers to the child, who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. Shri Vasudev Uvach. Viditosi bhavan shakshat purushah prakriteh para kevalanu bhavananda swarupah sarva buddhidrik. Vasudev said, my Lord, you are the Supreme Person, beyond material existence, and you are the Super Soul. Your form can be perceived by transcendental knowledge, by which you can be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I now understand your position perfectly. Sa eva svaprakrityedam shrishtvagre trigunatmakam tad anutvam hiya pravishta iva bhavyase. My Lord, you are the same person who in the beginning created this material world by his personal external energy. After the creation of this world of three gunas, you appear to have entered it, although in fact you have not. He did not become Triguna. He only entered, but not imprisoned by them. Like king may enter into prison house, but he's not prisoner. By his own will he is coming. Yathe me vikrita bhavas tatha te vikrite saha nana viryah pritak bhuta virajam janayanti hi sanipatya samutpadya drishyante nugata iva prak eva vidyamanatvam natesham iha sambhava evam bhavan buddhi anumeya lakshanair grajyair gunair san apitat gunagraha anavritatvat bahir antaram nate sarvasya sarvatmana atmavastuna. The Mahat Tattva means the total material energy is undivided. But because of the material modes of nature, it appears to separate into earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Because of the living energy, Jiva, these separated energies combine to make the cosmic manifestation visible. But in fact, before the creation of the cosmos, the total energy is already present. It is not that it came out of nothing. It is unmanifest and manifest, this creation. But Jiva is eternal, Maya is also eternal. Both are Anadi. And their combination is also Anadi. It is Ingita. Therefore, the total material energy never actually enters the creation. Similarly, although you are perceived by our senses because of your presence, you cannot be perceived by the senses, nor experienced by the mind or words. Avan manasa gochara. With our senses, we can perceive some things, but not everything. For example, we can use our eyes to see, but not to taste. Consequently, you are beyond perception by the senses. Although in touch with the modes of material nature, you are unaffected by them. You are the prime factor in everything, the all-pervading, undivided super soul. For you, therefore, there is no external or internal. You never entered the womb of Devaki, rather you existed there already. He only manifested. We cannot see with these senses transcendental reality. But if Krishna by his own will appears before our eyes, we can see. But only devotees, they will recognize who he is. Non-devotees, they will also see him. But they will think he's an ordinary human being. Only devotees can recognize who he is, that he is unlimited and all this. Now Vasudeva is speaking from his own realization. Actually, we cannot understand what he's speaking unless we also get that vision. We cannot imagine what is meant by what he's speaking. It is beyond sense perception, mind, imagination, intellect, everything. It has to be revealed to transcendental eyes. Then you can understand what he is telling. Ya atmano drishya guneshu saniti yavasyate sva vyati rekato buddha vinanu vadam nachatan manashitam samyak yatastyaktam upadadat puman. One who considers his visible body, which is a product of the three modes of nature, to be independent of the soul, is unaware of the basis of existence, and therefore he is a rascal. Those who are learned have rejected his conclusion because one can understand through full discussion that with no basis in soul, the visible body and senses would be insubstantial. Nonetheless, although his conclusion has been rejected, a foolish person considers it a reality. Tvatosya janmastiti samyaman vibho vadanti anihat agunat avikriyat Tvaishvare brahmani no virudyate tvat ashrayatvat upacharjate gunai. O my Lord, learned Vedic scholars conclude that the creation, maintenance and annihilation of the entire cosmic manifestation are performed by you, who are free from endeavor, unaffected by the modes of material nature, and changeless in your spiritual situation. There are no contradictions in you, who are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahman. Because the three modes of material nature, Sattva, Raja, Tama, are under your control, everything takes place automatically. Sattvam trilokas stitaya somaya vibharshi shuklam kalu varnam atmana sargaya raktam rajasopabrimhitam Krishnam chavarnam tamasa janatyaye. My Lord, your form is transcendental to the three material modes. Yet, for the maintenance of the three worlds, you assume the white color of Vishnu in goodness. For creation, which is surrounded by the quality of passion, you appear reddish. And at the end, when there is a need of annihilation, which is surrounded by ignorance, you appear blackish. Tvam asya lokasya vibho rirakshi shur grihe vatirnosi mama khileshwara rajanya sangyasura koti yuthapair nir vyuhyamana nihanishyase chamu. O my Lord, proprietor of all creation, you have now appeared in my house, desiring to protect this world. I am sure that you will kill all the armies that are moving all over the world under the leadership of politicians who are dressed as Kshatriya rulers, but who are factually demons. They must be killed by you for the protection of the innocent public. It happens what appears on the outside like a well-wisher, inside may not be. And Krishna can recognize all this, and he has to affectionately kill them for the good of all. For those who are killed also, they are also getting benefit. Love of Krishna, and they also become devotees then. Ayam tvasabhyas tava janma nau grihe Shrutva grajamste nyavadit sureshwara Sate vataram purushai samarpitam Shrutva drunaiva bhi sarati udayudha. O my Lord, Lord of the demigods, after hearing the prophecy that you would take birth in our home and kill him, this uncivilized Kamsa killed so many of your elder brothers. As soon as he hears from his lieutenants that you have appeared, he will immediately come with weapons to kill you. Shri Shuka Uvach. Athainam Atmajam Vikshya Mahapurusha Lakshanam Devakitam Upa Dhavad Kangsad Bhita Suvismita. Shukadev Goswami continued. Thereafter, having seen that her child had all the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Devaki, who was very much afraid of Kamsa and unusually astonished, began to offer prayers to the Lord. This is transcendental fear, not material fear. This is coming out of Vatsalya Rasa of Devaki. She knows he is Bhagavan and there is no any material fear originating from material ignorance. No, this is from Vatsalya Rasa to try to protect the child. So we should not think this is ordinary fear. Pure devotee has no this material type of fear. But in Lila they are afraid. Especially parents, they are afraid. And that increases their rasa. Shri Devaki Uvach. Rupam yatat prahura vyakta madhyam Brahma Jyotir Nirgunam Nirvikaram Satamatram Nirvishesham Niriham Satvam Shakshad Vishnur Adhyatma Nipa. Shri Devaki said, my dear Lord, there are different Vedas, some of which describe you as unperceivable through words and the mind. Yet you are the origin of the entire cosmic manifestation. You are Brahman, the greatest of everything, full of effulgence like the sun. You have no material cause, you are free from change and deviation, and you have no material desires. Thus, the Vedas say that you are the substance. Therefore, my Lord, you are directly the origin of all Vedic statements. And by understanding you, one gradually understands everything. You are different from the light of Brahman and Paramatma, yet you are not different from them. Everything emanates from you. Indeed, you are the cause of all causes. Lord Vishnu, the light of all transcendental knowledge. It is a lot to explain, but there is no time. But she's also speaking from her own realization, and actually we are unable to understand this factually. You need to realize. But I hear this word Nirih. Our Sri Kanta Prabhu now became Nirih Maharaj. So here it is translated as without material desires. I heard it means like peaceful, which is another thing, in another way saying one has no material desires. Nashte loke dvi parardha vasane mahabhuteshu adibhutam gateshu vyakte vyaktam kala vegena yate bhavan eka shishate shesha sangya. After millions of years, at the time of cosmic annihilation, when everything, manifested and unmanifested, is annihilated by the force of time, the five gross elements enter into the subtle conception, and the manifested categories enter into the unmanifested substance. At that time, you alone remain, and you are known as Ananta Sheshnag. How Devaki can know all this? We see Devaki is speaking this, and she's not speaking out of imagination, directly saying. Means there is no obstacle. Ladies can also know about Krishna. They can also be Guru. One thing happened today, practical, that disciple of Guru Mata, Jayashri, he was chatting me something and he was like disturbed. I'm doing bhajan, but I'm not getting any result, when it will happen and like this. So I tried to reply something, but he was all the time with some disturbance coming. Then, and he also told, why it is like so complicated? Why there is no like course? Why they don't just give us some course like in school and you do that and you get the result? Why it is not like this? It is uncertain and like this. And I see some other devotees, they are long time, and sannyasis, brahmacharis, they are so much chanting, and still now I see some quarrel among them and like this. So I'm having some doubt how I can then get it, when I will get it, and like this he was telling. So I tried to speak to him, but I'm not the realized soul, so that is why there was no effect. But while we were speaking, suddenly he stopped replying. Then after some time he replied, actually now, just now Guru Mata called me. I did not call her, but she herself by her own desire called me and she told me, today is Janmastami, so you have to recite this and this ashtakas and these stutis to satisfy Krishna, and you should pray to Harinam Prabhu, and you should not think about others, what others are doing. You should think how you will pray to Supreme Lord to forgive all your offenses, knowingly, unknowingly committed, and how you should serve, and this you should think. Then if you do this, you will get peace. Then he told me, this happened. Then I told you, see, Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Koren Bhaktagone. I told him, you see, Krishna knows everything. He said, I did not ask her, but she herself told me. Then I said, no, you were telling to me, you were complaining why there is no course and there is others are doing, so how I will like this. I said, you see, Krishna seeing everything. He knows what is in your heart. And in the form of Guru, he is blessing us. So here directly Krishna and Guru gave you course. You do this, you will get this. And directly he told you, you don't think about others. You think how you will surrender to Krishna. I told him, you see, Krishna appeared in the form of Guru. Then he said, yes, it is very valuable experience. I said, you have to have faith in Krishna and Guru. And if you follow what they say, then you will get the result. There is no doubt in this. So it happened today by the will of Krishna to strengthen our faith in him and in his devotees. So she's female, but she knows Krishna and Krishna blessing. Here we see Devaki, how she's speaking such things. We cannot imagine what she's telling. The billions of years before and annihilation and all this. How she's seeing all these things. Yes, they can see. Those who are surrendered to Krishna, they can see. We can also see, one time Gurudev told me, if you will chant Harinam from the core of your heart, and when your heart will be sanctified, then you will see all this, what is written in Bhagavatam. Even without reading Bhagavatam, you will see. Vyasadeva saw, then he wrote. Devaki is seeing everything. You can also see. But we have to submit and purify ourselves. Then in transcendental consciousness, we will be able to perceive directly all Leela of Krishna, the Nitya Leela, and also the Shrishti Leela creation. Everything will be clear. You will understand everything. Yo yam kalastasya te vyakta bandho cheshtam ahush cheshtate yena vishvam nimeshadir vatsaranto mahiyams tam tveshanam kshema dhama prapadya. And he told me, now I feel peace. Then I said, yes, this is the effect of the appearance of Krishna and his devotee. And if we receive their mercy, this is the result. O inaugurator of the material energy, this wonderful creation works under the control of powerful time, which is divided into seconds, minutes, hours, and years. This element of time, which extends for many millions of years, is but another form of Lord Vishnu. For your pastimes, you act as the controller of time, but you are the reservoir of all good fortune. Let me offer my full surrender unto your lordship. This we have to do. Then we'll get the actual result. Martyo mrityu vyala bhitah palayan lokan sarvan nirbhayam nadya gachat tvat padabjam prapya yadri chayadya sustakshete mritur asmat apaiti. No one in this material world has become free from the four principles: birth, death, old age, and disease. Even by fleeing to various planets. You can go to Mars or Moon, they think they went, but there also, this is also there. But now that you have appeared, my Lord, that is fleeing in fear of you. And the living entities, having obtained shelter at your lotus feet by your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace. The devotee told me, I'm sorry I spoke so many those rubbish things like that I spoke. Then I said, no, that was also necessary. So that Krishna could make this arrangement, this field on which he will appear to show you that he knows everything. And he is gracing through bona fide guru. Everything was necessary. So here also, when Krishna appears, then that also goes away. There is no fear, and they are sleeping in mental peace. He also told me, now I'm peaceful. I said, yes, this is the grace of Krishna. Sattvam ghorat ugra senatma jannas trahi trastan britya vitrasa hasi rupam chedam paurusham dhyana dhishnyam ma pratyaksham mamsa drisham krishishta. My Lord, because you dispel all the fear of your devotees, I request you to save us and give us protection from the terrible fear of Kamsa. Your form as Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is appreciated by yogis in meditation. Please make this form invisible to those who see with material eyes. Janmate maya so papo ma vidyan madhusudana samudvije bhavadheto kangsat aham adhira dhih. O Madhusudan, because of your appearance, I am becoming more and more anxious in fear of Kamsa due to Vatsalya Rasa. Therefore, please arrange for that sinful Kamsa to be unable to understand that you have taken birth from my womb. Upasamhara Vishwatman Ado Rupam Alaukikam Shanka Chakra Gadapadma Shriya Jushtam Chatur Bhujam. O my Lord, you are the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, and your transcendental four-armed form, holding conch, disc, club, and lotus, is unnatural for this world. Please withdraw this form. Vishwam yat etat swatano nishante yatha vakasham purushah paro bhavan Bibharti soya mama gharba gobhut aho nrilokasya vidampanam hitat. At the time of devastation, the entire cosmos, containing all created moving and non-moving entities, enters your transcendental body and is held there without difficulty. But now this transcendental form has taken birth from my womb. People will not be able to believe this, and I shall become an object of ridicule. Ridicule. Shri Bhagavan Vach Tvam eva parva sarge bhu Prishnih swayambhuve sati Tadayam sutapa nama Prajapatir akalmasha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, My dear mother, best of the chaste, in your previous birth, in the Swayambhuva millennium, you were known as Prishni, and Vasudev, who was the most pious Prajapati, was named Sutapa. How Krishna knows everything? Krishna knows everything. He's God. Yuvam vai brahmanadishto praja sarge yadatata saniyam yendriya gramam tepa te paramam tapa. When both of you were ordered by Lord Brahma to create progeny, you first underwent severe austerities by controlling your senses. Varshavata tapa hima dharma kalagunam anu Sahamano Shvasarodha Vinirduta Mano Malo Shirna Parna Nilaharo Upashantena Chetasa Matah Kaman Abhipsanto Mat Aradanam Ihatuh. My dear father and mother, you endured rain, wind, strong sun, scorching heat, and severe cold, suffering all sorts of inconvenience according to different seasons. By practicing pranayama to control the air within the body through yoga, and by eating only air and dry leaves fallen from the trees, you cleansed from your minds all dirty things. In this way, desiring a benediction from me, you worshipped me with peaceful minds. Evam vam tapyatos tivram tapah paramadushkaram divya varsha sahasrani dvada sheyur mat atmano. Thus you spent 12,000 celestial years performing difficult activities of tapasya in consciousness of me. Tada vam paritushtoham Amuna vapushanaghe tapasa shradaya nityam bhaktya chahridi bhavita pradurasam varadarat yuvayoh kama ditsaya vriyatam vara iti ukte madrishovam vritah sudha. O sinless Mother Devaki, after the expiry of 12,000 celestial years, in which you constantly contemplated me within the core of your heart with great faith, devotion and austerity, I was very much satisfied with you. Since I am the best of all bestowers of benediction, I appeared in this same form as Krishna to ask you to take from me the benediction you desired. You then expressed your desire to have a son exactly like me. Ajushta gramya vishayo anapatyo chadampati navavrate pavargame mohito deva maya. Being husband and wife, but always sonless, you were attracted by sexual desires, for by the influence of Deva Maya, transcendental love, you wanted to have me as your son. Therefore, you never desired to be liberated from this material world. this is not ordinary, this sexual union out of lust, to enjoy, to exploit. This is transcendental, calm. It is for the service of Krishna. Like gopis, it is also said lust, but that is not lust. They're trying to satisfy their own material sense. No, that is for the service of Krishna. So here also, by the influence of Deva Maya, and also they did not desire liberation even from this world. What to speak of those material desires? No, this is transcendental desire, transcendental activity for the service of Krishna. Because before, already in the context we see how they did tapasya, they purified, and for what for? And they got darshan of Krishna and saying, we only want you. So how then can be any this material? It is not. It is by Deva Maya, transcendental. Gate mai yuvam labdva varam mat sadrisham sutam gramyan bhogan abhunjatham yuvam prapta manorathau. After you receive that benediction and I disappeared, you engage yourselves in sex to have a son like me. And I fulfilled your desire. Again, we have to understand, if this is the desire, then it cannot be material. And if Krishna is fulfilling their desire to come to them, it cannot be material desire. When Devahuti mother said to Kapil Bhagavan, I am full of lust, I have no control over senses, nothing, so you please tell me how I can be liberated from this. Then Kapil Bhagavan, her son, smiled. What mother is saying? If she would have any material desires, how I can appear to her? It is impossible. Where there is sun, there can be no darkness. Where there is kama, there can be no prema. If there is prema or Krishna, then how there can be kama? It is impossible. So this is the humbleness of a devotee, to speak like that, as if he is a conditioned soul. But he is not. This is only out. And then he said, you are asking not for yourself, but for the conditioned souls. So we have to be careful not to misunderstand pure devotees, their expression. And they also mean it out of that humbleness, because connected with unlimited reality. So they had this desire. When someone has desire to serve Krishna, there can be no any other desires. If there are other desires, it means there is no desire to serve Krishna. But in sadhakas, it may be mixed on the path. Adrishtvanya tamam loke shilau darya gunai samam aham sutovam abhavam prishnigarba iti shruta. Since I found no one else as highly elevated as you in simplicity and other qualities of good character, I appeared in this world as Prishnigarba, or one who is celebrated as having taken birth from Prishni. Tayorvam punar evaham adityam asa kashyapat upendra iti vikyato vamanatva cha vamana. In the next millennium, I again appeared from the two of you, who appeared as my mother Aditi and my father Kashyap. I was known as Upendra, and because of being a dwarf, I was also known as Baman. Tritiyasmin bhave ham vai tanaiva vapushatavam jato bhuyastayoreva satya me vyahritam sati. O supremely chaste mother, I, the same personality, have now appeared of you both as your son for the third time. O supremely chaste mother, I, the same personality, have now appeared of you both as your son for the third time. Take my words as the truth. Like in Raslila, it is stated in Bhagavatam, if someone will hear with faith and from bona fide guru, when he will tell, he will see the adhikar of disciple, then that will destroy lust. Hridrokama, lust will be destroyed. So then how, if lust is destroyed, then how we can think that is some kind of lust? It is not lust. Those who think it is lust, they are foolish. They don't understand. But this effect will come if someone will hear properly and from proper source. Etadvam darshitam rupam pragjanma smaranaya me nanyatamad bhavam jnanam martya lingena jayate. I have shown you this form of Vishnu just to remind you of my previous births. Otherwise, if I appeared like an ordinary human child, you would not believe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu has indeed appeared. That is why he came forearmed, fully grown hair, helmet, jewels, and conch, all this. He appeared. Yuva mam putra bhavena, brahma bhavena chasakrit, Chintayanto krita sneho yasete madgatim param. Both of you, husband and wife, constantly think of me as your son, but always know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thus thinking of me constantly with love and affection, you will achieve the highest perfection, returning home back to Godhead. This is in Aishwarya Bhav. Devaki and Vasudev, they know he's God. But Nanda and Jashoda, that is superior type of worship, superior type of love. They are not aware he's God. Otherwise, that will shrink the love. Even if Krishna shows godly some features, they will not take it as godly. They will think some other. They cannot deviate from their prema. Shri Shuka Uvach Iti Uktva Siddhari Stushnim Bhagavan Atma Maya Pitrov Sampashyatov Sadhyo Babhuva Prakrita Shishu. Shukadev Goswami said, after thus instructing his father and mother, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna remained silent. In their presence, by his internal energy, he then transformed himself into a small human child. So, can you do this? God can do this. And from child, he can become like Baman. He was dwarf. But when Bali said, yes, I will give you 3 steps of land, then he became huge Trivikram. How he can do this? By 2 feet he covered upper worlds and lower worlds by 2 feet. So big he became. He can do anything. Tatascha Shaurir Bhagavat Prachodita Sutam Samadaya Sasutika Grihat Yada Bahir Gantum Yeshatarhi Aja Ya Yoga Maya Jani Nanda Jaya. Thereafter, exactly when Vasudev, being inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to take the newborn child from the delivery room, Yogamaya, the Lord's spiritual energy, took birth as the daughter of the wife of Maharaj Nanda. Means Jashoda, Taya Hrita Prateya Sarva Vritishu, Dvahsteshu Paureshu Api Shaiteshu Atha, Dvarascha Sarvah Pihita Durateya, Brihat Kapataya Sakila Shrinkalai. Tah Krishna vahe Vasudevagate Swayam Vyavaryanta Yatha Tamorave Vavarsha Parajanya Upangshu Garjita Sheshon Vagat Vari Nivarayan Panai. By the influence of Jogamaya, all the doorkeepers fell fast asleep, their senses unable to work, and the other inhabitants of the house also fell deeply asleep. When the sun rises, the darkness automatically disappears. Similarly, when Vasudeva appeared, the closed doors, which were strongly pinned with iron and locked with iron chains, opened automatically. Since the clouds in the sky were mildly thundering and showering, Anantanag, an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, followed Vasudeva, beginning from the door with hoods expanded to protect Vasudeva and the transcendental child. Everything is possible by Almighty Supreme Lord. Maghoni Varshati Asakrit Yamanuja Gambira To Yaugha Yavormi Phenila Bayana Kavarta Shatakula Nadi Margam Dadau Sinduriva Shriya Pate. Because of constant rain sent by the demigod Indra, the river Jamuna was filled with deep water, foaming about with fiercely whirling waves. But as the great Indian Ocean had formerly given way to Lord Ramachandra by allowing him to construct a bridge, the river Jamuna gave way to Vasudeva and allowed him to cross. Nanda Vrajam Shaurir Upetya Tatra Tam Gopan Prasuptan Upalabhya Nidraya Sutam Yashoda Shayane Nidhaya Tat Sutam Upadaya Punar Grihan Agat. When Vasudeva reached the house of Nanda Maharaj, he saw that all the cowherd men were fast asleep. Thus he placed his own son on the bed of Yashoda, picked up her daughter, an expansion of Jogamaya, and then returned to his residence, the prison house of Kamsa. Devakya Shayana Nyasya Vasudeva Tadarikam Pratimucha Padarloham Aste Purvavat Avritah. Vasudeva placed the female child on the bed of Devaki, bound his legs with the iron shackles, and thus remained there as before. Yashodananda Patni Cha Jatam Param Abhudyata Nata Lingam Parishranta Nidraya Pagata Smriti. Exhausted by the labor of childbirth, Jashoda was overwhelmed with sleep and unable to understand what kind of child had been born to her. This is how Supreme Lord Krishna appeared in this world. But the Goswamis, they revealed that actually Jashoda gave birth to two twins, one girl and one that her Krishna, Jashodanandan Krishna, but she was unable to remember by Jogamaya. So when Vasudeva brought this Vasudeva Krishna, that Vasudeva Krishna merged into Nandanan Krishna, and Jogamaya he took there. So it happened simultaneously, the appearance of Krishna and also birth lila in Madhurja mood, not like godly, like in Mathura, a godly appearance, but there was ordinary like birth, but of course that is transcendental by Jogamaya. So that Krishna of Jashoda and Nanda Maharaj is our object of worship. Not this Krishna, although they are same person, but Lila is different. So our service is there, that Krishna. So we are very fortunate that by the Krishna's grace, we are able to hear about him and to get some attraction for him, because we are eternally related to him. That is real relationship with Krishna. But when we become averse to Krishna, then we are entangled in these non-eternal material relations, which ultimately all are frustrating, because it is selfishness involved and ignorance involved. You don't know who he really is and who really I am. This ignorance is there and selfishness is there. So all material relationships, because they're based on selfishness and ignorance, ultimately they are all frustrating, because this is perverted reflection of that reality, and it is meant like that, because that is not our natural function, and we cannot solve the problem by changing another person or by changing myself from this type of mentality to another, because I'm seeing all the time same story is coming. Then I realize, because I am the same. So now if I will change my mentality, then another thing will happen. Yes, another thing will happen, but same thing will happen, because you are having that enjoying ego there. So although it will happen in different way, but in substance it will happen same thing. Selfishness will be there and ignorance, and ultimate result will be same. So this is not the solution. The solution is we have to transcend all these worldly egos, false egos. It may be this type or that type, that it's the same. We have to fully transcend all worldly egos and realize who am I really in relation to Krishna eternally, and who are all others. Then a relation is with Krishna, and with all others in relation to him, we will have love for all, actual love in relation to Krishna, and we will cooperate with them for the service of Krishna. It will not be anything separate from Krishna. It will be in relation to Krishna. That platform we have to realize. Then that is the solution to all problems. The root cause of all problem is we are averse to Krishna. And by trying to be happy and without problem, being averse to Krishna, it will never work. Any solution, never. Only when we submit to Krishna by his grace in the form of pure devotee, and can fully submit to him for his service and come to reality. Who am I? Who is Krishna? Who are all are? What is everything? Reality. Then that can give us real peace and happiness. But without this, it is impossible. So tomorrow we will hear how Nanda Maharaj was very happy to get a son after a long time, and also another very auspicious day is tomorrow. Our Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj's appearance. We are all indebted to him. He brought, by the order of Krishna, he brought Krishna consciousness all over the world. We are all indebted to him. So we have to remember him and pray for his grace. By his grace, we can come in contact with Krishna actually. Hari Bol.